Welcome back to complete our discussion talking about healthy superfoods. Joining me again, Lauren Bradley with the Tulsa Health Department, health education specialist and registered dietitian. Let's jump in.
Okay.
Now with my voice here, I'm feeling like I'm really needing this lemon you have here, and I'll have to go get my honey.
Yes.
Let's jump in and talk about a few other kinds of foods and sort of sources that help boost this immune system. Tell me about iron. Let's start with iron because we hear a lot about iron and we tend to think we can only get it from meat. That's what we typically think. Tell me about iron.
Iron is another one of those power kind of minerals that we need, again, that's going to help kind of fight off the immune infections, whatever. Iron we can get not only in our meats, like you were saying, a lot of foods are fortified with iron. Okay. Again, we're going to get them in our multivitamins, but red meats are probably the best way that you can get it.
Okay, okay. So fish is not going to be a very good source of iron.
No, it's not going to have as much iron.
Okay.
As your nice red meats. So
okay.
People that try to avoid, so vegetarians are going to again have to find kind of those fortified sources because a lot of times they're not going to have the red meat.
Okay, and like you said with the multivitamins. Now, in terms of kids compared to adults, do they need more iron than adults do? And is there a certain point in life where as an adult you may not need that kind of iron?
Well, women actually are different than men as far as iron goes. Women need more iron in their bodies than men do. And as far as kids to adults, yes, you're going to need a smaller quantity when you're a child. But again, as far as it's more of a gender difference than a younger to older adult.
Okay, okay. So look at the
iron. If you're
iron.
a woman, you definitely need to have more iron.
Okay, and then there's a certain point in life which you don't need the iron. It's usually when you get into the menopausal, the menopausal
like, do you
range.
Want to go there? Yes.
Well, we want people to have the whole picture here, Lauren.
Yes, this is true. Yes.
So then they should not be taking the iron and consult with their doctor because they could get into more difficulty by taking iron.
Yes.
Okay, so we want to make sure they get that whole picture.
Yes.
Yep, we got it. Now, tell me a little bit about zinc, because many of us may have heard of it, some may not have. What is zinc and what can it do for us, and where do we find it?
Zinc is again one of those immune boosting, and it actually has a special property. It can kind of help boost your white blood cell count, which again our white blood cells are going to fight off those infections. There are super troopers in the body. Zinc can be found again in our red meats, so that's an important source, but most of our cereals actually are fortified with zinc. And our B vitamins that we talked about earlier. But fortified cereals are another great way to get zinc. The main source of zinc, the best source you could get is oysters. But most people generally in our region don't consume too many oysters.
No, or even think about them.
So red meat and fortified cereals are going to be the best source of zinc for most of us.
Now in our multivitamins, because they do contain zinc, does that tend to be the serving that we really need, or do we really need to supplement it? Because sometimes the multivitamins may have not 100% or something, but do we supplement that multivitamin or what?
Zinc is one actually that you need the appropriate amount, which is at about 11 milligrams for most of us. Actually, zinc is one where if you have too much zinc, it can actually work against your immune system. So you don't want to overdo the zinc. You actually want to try to stay around that 11 milligrams. So if you were to take a multivitamin, I think that's what most of them have is that 11 milligrams, and you really don't want to go above and beyond that because, like I said, it can actually kind of work against you.
Okay, and so some of those cold products in the store that you see that have zinc in them, some are saying that if you take this within so many hours or symptoms of your cold, it'll help ease the cold or cut the degree of symptoms or that kind of thing. So that really probably has some merit to it.
Yeah, it definitely is an immune booster and will help boost your white blood cells.
Excellent. Let me ask one question on vitamin C before we get to garlic and some of the others that I just thought about. In our other segment, we talked about vitamin C. Can you take too much vitamin C? Because you have vitamin C that will be in your multivitamin, and then, of course, you can buy the vitamin C supplements alone, and you're eating your citrus fruits and things like that, and that broccoli to get your vitamin C. Can you have too much?
Vitamin C is actually one of those water-soluble vitamins, so it's not going to stay in your system like a fat-soluble. So really every day you kind of do need to replenish it. I don't know that there's a toxicity with vitamin C. You probably wouldn't want to eat 5 citrus fruits and drink the juice and have the supplement. I would say around 100%, 150% would be probably the max you'd want to get. But again, it is one of those water-soluble, so that means throughout the day you're going to be losing it. So it's one that, like I said, it's not going to stay in your system and build up and get toxic.
Okay, okay. let's look at garlic.
Oh, okay.
I mean, because sometimes people are like, ooh, garlic, but
Yeah.
of course they're garlic supplements.
Yeah.
What does garlic do for us, and where do we find it other than maybe in the little garlic clove kind of thing?
Well, the only place garlic naturally comes in the
Yeah.
clove, and we want the garlic, the juice from the garlic is going to have those immune fighting properties.
Okay.
Garlic can help fight off your viral, your fungal, and your bacterial infections. So again, that's why garlic is such a superfood. We can put it on a variety of things. So people a lot of times may not eat a clove of garlic,
Right.
obviously, but
Right.
garlic bread, put some garlic on your bread, or in pastas would be a great way to add some garlic, or even kind of mix in with maybe some of your vegetable seasonings.
Okay,
So that's the way you could get it.
Now you talked, Lauren, about the seasonings with garlic. So do you really mean to say that if we're buying garlic seasoning, that truly is giving us garlic? It's just not a flavoring issue?
Well,
Or do we have to read that label?
I think, again, you'd have to read the label, because if garlic is minuscule, then you're probably not going to be getting the benefits as you would having the clove, actually smashing the clove and putting it in a dish.
Right, and that's a good idea in terms of the seasonings, because sometimes they'll say all of these things like lemon seasoning and all that, and you really read the label and there's hardly no lemon in it.
And it's all salt. Yep.
Exactly, so you really need to kind of look at that
Yes.
realistically.
Definitely.
Now talk to me a little bit about the advantages of yogurt and what yogurt does for us, because we hear on TV there's all kinds of yogurts. There's
Yes.
yogurts with this added and that added, and you'll feel better in 2 weeks, and you'll just have more energy, and some people are like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So tell us about yogurt.
Well, it depends on what they add to the yogurt. Some yogurts have added fiber, like we talked about earlier, that's going to help clean out your insides. But the main thing that's in yogurt is probiotics, which is a big term for healthy bacteria. Because our body does need some bacteria in it, which is that healthy bacteria that's going to kind of eat and munch on the bad bacteria.
All right.
Because we naturally, like I said, want to have some bacteria in our body. Well, when you're taking antibiotics, what your doctor gives you to help fight an infection, you can kind of wipe out all of that good, healthy bacteria. So therefore developing, kind of some further problems. So a lot of times if you have that yogurt, which has that healthy bacteria, you're replenishing that in your body while this medicine is kind of working to get rid of and fight off that bad bacteria.
Okay, and so really yogurt, if it doesn't have that added, basically yogurt in and of itself is still going to be good for us.
Yeah, exactly. Because every day we need to have, that healthy bacteria just living in us. So yogurt has those probiotics or healthy bacteria. So definitely a good superfood.
Alrighty, well we're going to end up really quickly here with our experiment that we were trying to tell people while they saw this, and this is just talking about our vitamins here.
Yes.
But you bought some apples.
Yes.
And we know, and we cut them up before the show started, and one side's just not cooperating as much as the other side. But the purpose was to show about the browning effect, and we all know how apples can brown when you cut them up and they're exposed to air.
Yep.
So what trick do you have to help us prevent that from happening and keeping the apples looking like nice crispy apples longer?
Yeah, well, if we put lemon juice on our apples, it has that vitamin C because it's a citrus fruit, and by putting it on the apples, you can kind of tell it's going to slow down that browning process, because that browning process is what happens with those free radicals, like in our body. It's exposed to oxygen, so that vitamin C is going to slow that browning process, just like the vitamin C in our body is going to slow the production of all those free radicals.
Excellent. Good tip. We can use that lemon juice and lime juice too?
And lime juice too.
And lime juice too. Thank you so much for joining me, Lauren.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's our show. For Health Alert, I'm Pam Butler. I'd love to hear your comments or suggestions for future shows. Please write me at Health Alert USA, P.O. Box 50913, Tulsa, Oklahoma 74150. Or if you're on the email trail, please email me at healthalertusa@gmail.com. And also visit me on YouTube at youtube.com/Health Alert USA. Take care, and remember, get those superfoods and enjoy, and check out the lemon and honey when you need it. It's great. Take care. This program would not be possible without the support of OU Physicians in Tulsa.